What's up, beautiful people? How are you today? Thank you for your time and listening. I want to give you an update about my life. If you follow my channel and follow what I did my last video on, exposing who shot Biggie, excuse me, and Biggie Smalls and Jam Master Jay, and I revealed, it was possibly more than likely. I'm really pretty sure it was my stepbrother, because the fact of the matter is, when I went around actually saying it was him, what he actually did and what actually happened to me, and basically how even after I tried to become a ghost for almost a year, and then the cops run my ID and they pick me up off the street and beat the crap out of me. I kind of think that says a yes, that he really did do it. So I actually made that video to more or less protect me and to protect my business partner, my new business partner, because I'm about to start something big. And all you people will see, because I came up with this ingenious business plan, because I'm actually a pretty intelligent guy. But I'm not going to get on that. Some updates about things that I did with this video that I made. That's what this video is about. And also, I'm going to address the current royal baby situation. So, after I made the video, posted it on YouTube, guess what I did with it? I posted it on the Houston Sheriff Department's website on Facebook. I posted it on the FBI's website on Facebook. And I posted it on the Houston Police Department's Facebook. Now, if you people think I'm joking, I am not. I'm very serious, because I'm actually sick of this shit. I'm actually really sick of him. And from what I've exposed, now let me tell you, there's not anything that I do that's not calculated and well thought out. Now that's why I'm making this video, to help you understand exactly what this video will do, and possibly, inform some FBI agents that probably run a website and that aren't involved with these Nazi cops that actually work for the mob. And what I mean by the mob is the New World Order mob. The Nazis that the United States brought over here under Operation Paperclip. The Nazis that run Monsanto's, the most evilest corporation in the world. And basically they're a mob. They kill people. So if you follow that video, I also revealed that my stepbrother, his police name, his nickname in the industry, amongst the cops, amongst everybody, is Officer Cliff. Even I thought his name was Cliff when his father married my mother, but then my mother told me his real name isn't even Cliff. And so I was like, huh? Where'd he get Cliff from? And then I found out he lived right near the Katy Cliffs for a while. I was like, no way. And so I started to make the correlation, because I actually grew up in Spring Branch. And in Spring Branch, I will tell you that I grew up with a very murderous upbringing, because there were a lot of crazy killings growing up. I grew up during the 80s and 90s, but during the 80s, more or less during the Reagan administration, when the Freemasons called this the Feast of the Beast. Just to give you some details about my growing up, let's see, my friend John Deborah died when he was with some of his rich Freemason buddies, school kids, friends of mine. Let's see, there was a couple that was in the same high school as me. They got beheaded at Enclave Park, and it was said that a lot of cult members actually started to hang out at that park and look for people. After that, people stopped hanging out there. There were numerous amount of bodies found in the Katy Cliffs. This was a dumping ground for mob killings and rapists and just a slew load of murders. So much so that the cops came down with the approval of the government and closed this piece of land off, and it was controlled by the cops. Now, I want you to understand, in the last video, I didn't really get much into this, and there's a reason for it, because I wanted to put something out there to make people kind of squirm and to make the cops go, oh shit, you know, because they run that property. They actually own that property for the mob. See, what people need to understand is the Katy Cliffs, they didn't stop dumping bodies out there. It became like the place where cops, I suspect the cops, would dump bodies. Now, what bodies? Now, let me remind you about Houston's black mayor. I think he was after Bob Lanier. Okay? Because Bob Lanier was such a deceitful, corrupt motherfucker that the cops in Houston were killing so many black people and so many Mexican people, and minorities were just coming up missing from jail. You know, you had protests outside the jail because, you know, they're just, oh, your son's dead, you know, and wouldn't give any explanation, and they wouldn't even release the body. They were cremating bodies or getting rid of the bodies. They wouldn't even allow the people to bury their own relatives. This is true Houston history. So what I suspect is this was the time when the cops really just were killing whoever the hell they wanted to, and they were dumping bodies. Where? I suspect after they took over the Katy Cliffs, that became their dumping ground. Now let me explain something to you about the Katy Cliffs. It is a big kind of ditch that's always filled with water, and it's really muddy, and it's the perfect place to bury bodies. Let me explain to you why. Because it rains so much in Houston, Texas, okay? And with this cliffs, it's always eroding, mud's always going into it. So when it floods, you know, and then the water subsides, whatever's in the bottom always gets, you know, buried over. So it's the perfect place to get rid of something because it gets actually buried in the mud. So this is why people would dump bodies and weapons and whatever in the cliffs. This is why my stepbrother is named Officer Cliff, I suspect. Because he had a house right over by the cliffs. So I posted this video on, you know, the cops' website because they know. They control that property. It is like the place where the dirty cops get rid of bodies. Obviously, I mean, if the mob did it, I mean, the cops have always been working for the mob, you know? Always. It's a given. If the mob wants to function in a place, somewhere, property, whatever, what do? You pay cops to leave you alone. If the mob wants to deal drugs in a club, what do? You pay off the cops at the club to tell your drug dealers when the narcs are in the club, and that's that. It's money. This is how businesses run. I know. I grew up in the club industry, okay? So, anyway, so I suspect there's a shitload of bodies probably in the cliffs, and the government closed off that land, and it is controlled and watched by the cops. So, what other perfect place to start dumping bodies and dumping your dirt when you control that property and nobody goes on it and it remains unchecked? Well, the fact of the matter is, I'm hoping some damn agent will at least, you know, take its time, or somebody will at least run some, what do you call those? Biogeographical graphs on the area, because you can do it with HARP. Who knows if they have access to HARP or whatever, but you can see bones, you know? You can tell if there's bones, metal, guns buried up under there. I mean, if you use HARP or some kind of biographic technology that says, okay, there's more than dirt down there, that's very simple. Even a good hacker could actually do that. I mean, yeah, simple. So, I put this out into the universe because I want the people to pay, and actually I suspect, possibly, maybe, some of my own family members being buried there. I don't put anything past these motherfuckers. I don't put anything past Cliff. I mean, he killed Biggie. He killed Jam Master Jay. Who's my family to him? These guys made millions. These guys were stars. Who's my family? They're nothing. So if this guy will kill these people, he'll kill somebody in my family for absolutely nothing. To cover his back, to cover his ass. Point blank. And just to send me a message to shut the fuck up, because I've been speaking the truth. Because what? He's my freaking stepbrother. I don't like his family. I never liked his family. I never liked when my mother married his father. I'm sorry. I just never did like them. Bad vibes all around. Now I know why. So I come back to America after being in Europe and educating agencies from France to Romania about this and debriefing people, and they think I came back here because I'm alone and I had no place to go and I was homeless and this and this. Well, the fact of the matter is I was homeless because I was battling the mob with a freaking video camera. I was battling the female cartel with a freaking video camera. And I'm still alive. Gee, how's that possible? So, I figured out that not even the most ruthless, most fucked up individuals couldn't even kill me in their own country because they export and kill, rape, maim women and children every freaking day. This is their business. So they didn't kill me in Romania, their own country. I go to France, home of the Rothschilds. I mean, that is Rothschild world. The Rothschilds own more property in France than any Frenchman. That is their Nazi country. So I go up to their Nazi country, NWO Central, and they couldn't kill me. All they could do is break my arm. See, their plan was, okay, let's hurt him a little bit, break his arm, send him back to Houston, give him cancer, make him a TI, blast him with microwave weapons, and have him die a painful death of cancer and have him look like he died naturally, okay? But the thing is, they never planned on me to actually figure it out and actually talk about it, continue to talk about it. Well, I'm still alive, you stupid fucks. And I'm going to put this on YouTube. And if nobody listens to it, oh well. And I'll probably post it on the FBI and the cops page too, and the sheriff's page, because, hey, not every cop knows. Not every sheriff knows. And not every FBI agent knows. But everybody knows Cliff. So, anyway, guess what? One thing that I would also like to reveal is there's a big cop house to the left of me, owns a pool at the end of my street, High Point, Houston, Texas, Hiram Clark. And to the right of me, there's another cop. One thing that I did notice, the cop to the right of me, he's got a green thumb and he lives by himself. I thought that was a bit strange. I mean, he's got all these plants, like sitting outside his house, you know, and he always works the night shift, just like, guess who? Cliff. Best time to deal drugs, guys, right? And kill and do all that nasty stuff that, you know, cops do and get away with. So, I noticed this cop has a green thumb, and I'm just like, when would he find time to, like, make this, like, nice garden in front of his house? He lives alone. I only see him coming in and leaving that house, and that's it. So you got a cop's house to the right of me, cop's house to the left of me. So basically, what I suspect that the cops have done is they did like the whole Mexican tunneling thing, but the thing that they dug is probably huge. I mean, I suspect it's not a tunnel. It's like almost a facility that probably is accessible from the cop's house to the right and the cop's house to the left. And they dug under the street and it connects, and they dug from both sides. So what I think is they're probably growing weed or have some kind of drug facility up under High Point. So, I mean, I know there's something up under me. How do I know? Because actually when I sleep and when I do things to fuck with my Wi-Fi, like turn it off or like do specific things, I hear people like yell, or I hear people dropping things on the cement. So what I suspect is it's not coming from outside, you know? And I'm laying down on my floor, so there's not that much dirt in between me and them. And so what I suspect is it probably has a cement ground, and somehow, you know, they've made the top from caving in, but it's not soundproof. It's not built by professionals. So if I can hear things coming from beneath me through the ground, it's there's not that much space in between the house and the ground. And what I suspect they're actually using for the roof, parts of the roof, is maybe they built supports around the laid cement for the house. Who knows how they did it? You know, I don't. But I do know Cliff's twin brother, he works for the city, and one of the things that he does do is he works underground in the tunnels and stuff. So he would be an expert at building and knowing how a facility like this should be built and work. Cliff's twin brother, my stepbrother, that is a cop, fed, Marine, Black Ops hitman, has a twin brother. What a perfect cover. I can't make this shit up. So I can't wait. If I live, I write about it, or, you know, somebody wants to write about it. That's cool. Go ahead. That's why I make these videos. But when I write about it, my stuff will be a lot more detailed and in-depth because I actually live this shit. So, if you haven't listened to my last video, you know, who shot Biggie and who killed Jam Master Jay, well, you know, this is the continuation of it, because I'm sure people out there like, whoa. I mean, I have gotten comments from people that have actually listened to all my videos, and they said, whoa, man, I can't believe your life. You've been through so much crazy, incredible stuff. And yeah, I know, but you don't actually know the half of it, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't talk about, that I won't talk about, because if I let this stuff out right now, things won't play out like I need it to play out, because these motherfuckers think they're diabolical, and they think they've figured out like every angle of every situation and what I'm gonna do and what they could do to counteract this. I mean, because they have a supercomputer, you know, the beast. So they know what I eat, what I do, how I supposedly think, and you know, they run different scenarios. Okay, he's doing this, they feed it in, what should we do? And the beast gives them, you know, alternatives and different scenarios in case he does this. This is why the prison program exists. So they can predict or make everyone else predictable. Also, the underground facility, you know, they have a microwave weapon underneath my house, and they always have it aimed at me to accelerate cancerous and disease and sickness growth. That is the purpose of microwave weapons, and also to subliminally put messages and stuff into your head while you sleep. This whole process of doing that is called silent sound. It is another silent weapon, microwave weapon. It exists. It's actually existed since 1942. It was patented in 1979. And actually, it is real. Look it up on YouTube. Type it on the web. Silent sound. And then, if you think I'm bullshitting, type in silent weapons. See how much stuff comes up. See how many articles come up. And then go even further and type in TI, spelled targeted individual. And then after that, type in public policing. The police know about it. This is what they do, you know, when they get their government flunkies to come be cops, but they're not really cops. They're black ops. And then they act like they're cops, and this is what they do. Bottom line, my stepbrother, Cliff. So, if nobody listens to this, that's cool. Whatever. I'm not having fun. I'm going to break it down. I make these videos for two people. Okay? One person, I'm going to reveal him. I talked about him before, but, you know. I have to say thanks, Mark. You're the fucking man. Mark Hazard. That's what we'll call him. Mark Hazard. Mark Hazard is the actual 007 that the new, I think it was like last 2 or 3 James Bond movies have been about. And the last James Bond movie they made as a death threat actually to Mark, because if you watch it and know what I know, and if you know what I know Mark did in Romania based on the information that I actually put on the YouTube, what he did to the female cartel, you will understand the last James Bond movie. And in actuality, they actually shoot their own guy, you know, and they actually it was like clearly the English message to Mark, you know, and because they don't know what he's doing anymore, and basically he went rogue. He turned into a rogue. Mark Hazard was trained by the Russians, trained by the best of MI6, ex-military. He was with that Freemason shit until I broke it down to him what it's actually about. And at the time when I was in Romania, you know, they sent him in on me to destabilize me, and with my rapping and skill talents and my big mouth, I actually educated him probably when he was probably about to like kill me. And then he like, you know, probably said, why the fuck do they want this guy dead? You know? And he didn't do it because I'm a likable guy. It's like, okay, it's imagine you pay this guy or MI5 agent like what, like 10, 20 grand, or give him an order to kill this guy. And what killers actually do is they scope out their target, you know, and they're like, what has he done? They won't tell you. Because actually, you know, if a hitman were to look into my past, which you can do on YouTube, you know, I haven't done anything. My stepbrother's a freaking killer cop. I mean, how lower can you get than that? I mean, he killed Biggie. He was involved in the Jam Master Jay killing. I mean, any hitman, don't you like Biggie Smalls? Didn't you like remember Jam Master Jay? How like remember like hip hop and all that stuff exploded all over the world? This dude killed that. I mean, that's some serious shit. And he has a problem with me talking about it? Well, sorry, cop, pig, black ops, Marine Cliff. I have a problem with you killing history. Because they gave you money? Because what, you ain't got no talent? And all your own talent is to snuff out life? So much that you went and bought a house right by the Katy Cliffs so you could dump bodies and tell the cops to dump bodies too. So basically, you know what, cops? See, the cops protect Cliff because Cliff has probably so much dirt on other cops. Because when other cops need a place to dump the bodies, and Cliff was like the watchdog over the cliffs. There you go. Cliff. Mr. I'm your superstar cop. You know? The real evil Jackson. Y'all don't talk about Michael Jackson having problems and being evil. Y'all haven't heard about Cliff Jackson, his freaking cousin. You know? Maybe that's why they killed Mike, because of Cliff. Who knows? But I did make these videos, and actually I was exposing Cliff way before Michael Jackson died. What if Michael was going to come out and talk about his family and Cliff? Who knows? I did live in California, and I did meet the guys that dance with Michael Jackson. Robin Rich. Anybody heard of them? They danced at the last Madonna's concert. The two Samoan guys. I was dancing with their crew in California. You know? So I wasn't that far away from MJ, and everybody knew there was this like crazy shit around me in this story, and it circulated. And California in that circle is a small circle. So, anyway, I hope you people get what I'm saying, because basically what I want these stupid motherfuckers to know that are watching me, they got all these bugs in my house and Wi-Fi, and even this computer. I have the new Dell touch screen flat, and they have the camera in front, and the fucking mics never turn off. So, anyway, so they can watch, they can listen and learn. This is why I'm still alive. One thing you will understand is two things that cannot be stopped, and is one thing that I do. It's the one thing I want you to understand. It's called truth, and this truth is called overcover. What is overcover? Well, there's undercover, what these motherfuckers do, stalk and kill and want to keep secret. And then there's overcover. You know, just let it all out. Just tell the truth. Who cares who's listening? Overcover. You know? Because one day, one person or two people, that right person is going to hear this and listen and go, something is up with this. Because if I can do this and I didn't take control of him. I just enlightened him of the whole situation, and he turned rogue against his own country. What's up, Mark? Woof woof. You know? Respect. Thanks, man. God bless. He's the best. I mean, y'all don't, I'm not going to even get into what this guy can do, but let me give you a little example. You seen the Bourne conspiracy? Okay? All of them? Think of all of those and all that stuff Jason Bourne did, and think of somebody that's 100 times better than that. This is what you're dealing with. Oh yeah, and he also knows psychotech. If you don't know what psychotech is, all I can say is a secret way of fighting, a Russian technique, and they don't even have to touch you to pretty much kick the shit out of you. They can do it from a distance. And from what I know, Putin knows it too. It's called psychotech. It's some deadly cool shit. And Mark knows this shit. And that's why he trained with the Russians, because he learned this. So, factually, there is no MI6, MI5, 007 agent that is better than Mark, because they don't know psychotech. Because I'm sure after what happened in Romania, there's no Russian that's going to take any Englishmen and train them. So, this is who you motherfuckers are dealing with. And also, to that lady that tried to get involved and went to the Canadian consulate for me, Mr. Carlo, bless you. She, if you don't know who Lauren DiCarlo is, Uh, well, have you heard of Tomb Raider? Have you heard of, oh gosh, what is that franchise? Resident Evil? Have you heard of those video games and movies? Well, she's actually really real, and she's actually an ex MI6 agent, and she tried to help me, and she contacted the wrong people, and I told her, I said, I know they're going to come after her because she's trying to help me, but she's actually too big and too smart, so they can't really do anything to her. I mean, she's awesome. So I like to give respects to her too for trying to help me, but at the time when we were talking over Facebook, I knew it wasn't safe to like just go blah, you know, and it's all about this, and I tried to tell her, you don't understand, it's just there's so much, and she thought contacting the Nazi Canadian consulate that is actually pretty much at the time was run by the English were gonna help me. I mean, I worked at the Bucharest Radisson, where I was the DJ for Canadian diplomats who would request prostitutes and little girls, little boys, whatever, after their, exclusive Freemason dinners. Okay? I won't get into it. People did talk about the Radisson, and the Radisson is owned by a rich Jewish guy, and a nice casino so they can go spend their money. Radisson's dirty as shit. So I worked there as a DJ and DJ'd all their parties with, all the big diplomats and government officials and presidential officials. I was DJing for them. So I wasn't really undercover, but I guess I was because I was a DJ. But I was listening and learning about all this incredible stuff. I mean, when Madonna came and stayed there, all the crazy shit she did. And, I mean, the Radisson is where all the superstars stay when they come to Bucharest. Y'all think they stay at the Hilton? No, not really. I mean, if you really want, like, the Radisson Blue, because it's the old Hotel Bucharest was the nicest place to stay in Romania. And the Radisson bought it. That's why. So, I worked there as a DJ for a little bit, and, I learned a lot of stuff. I mean, so much so that, they had to have the Rothschilds come down and actually get me fired from my Jewish German boss, who's actually a Freemason too, because I actually saw him in all his Freemason get up at one of their private dinners that I DJ'd at, and they had the Freemason on the plaque, or Freemason sect on a plaque at the door that they had been open for like 20 years, and you have to pay the charter in France. Rothschilds. Okay, so I'm not gonna get into that. So hopefully one day I'll be able to make a movie about all this stuff. Because actually, I look back at it and I was like, damn, I really would have been a good spy. And see, that was the problem in Romania. See, they started to think that I was an actual spy. And they started to really get scared of me. And this is how Mark Hazard fucked with their heads, because they actually thought in Romania I was an actual spy. And actually, during that time on the streets and away from everything, Mark was actually kind of training me from a distance. We're having fun with this shit, We're still having fun with this shit. So this is why I make these videos, because they have highly secured networks and stuff like that where they can access my YouTube channel and, so they can see what's going on, and I can tell them, this is what's up, hey, what's up. So anyway, if y'all think this is bullshit, you can think whatever you want, I mean, ask yourself a question. How can I still be alive and, literally, like, expose all of this like this? And I've actually probably exposed one of the cops' largest unforgotten dumping grounds, which, when that shit is dug up, I mean, I've had dreams about it, people. I've seen it. When that shit is dug up, you will see the black genocide and how fucked up Cliff is. and how many bodies are still in the Katy cliffs. So, yeah, I'm going to title this video The Katy Cliffs, where the bodies are. And I'm going to post that this on the FBI and the sheriff's and the cops page for all the cops to know, if you're involved in this, you're fucked. All the sheriffs to know, if you're involved in this, you're fucked. And for all the FBI and NWO guys to let them know that if you're involved in this, you are fucked. That's the bottom line. So, also, I'm going to address the new inbred baby that everybody's celebrating. Okay, point blank. The Windsors are the evilest motherfuckers in the world. Rothschild's evilest motherfuckers in the world. Evelyn Rothschild is the Queen's financial advisor. These motherfuckers have so much money that they can food and clothe the world like 8 to 10 times over and still have money left over, and that's for everyone's entire lifetime for several generations. That's how much money that these motherfuckers have. They go to bed knowing that millions and millions of children are going to bed starving, and they hoard over their money, and they want us to celebrate their fucking inbred baby? It's fucking disgusting. And also, I like to point out that does it really make any sense that African children are starving and dying from food? Why is that? I mean, haven't you ever asked yourself the question, how can a country so rich in resources like diamonds, per se, and rubies, how can a country like this be so poor and have starving kids? Because the fucking English, British, German Nazis came to that fucking place and stole their land with all the diamonds and mines on it. Blood diamonds. They control the diamond trade. You find a diamond in Africa, you think they give you money what it's worth? Fuck no. They give the Africans like pretty much nothing from what it's worth. And then if you find a place and you're trying to dive for diamonds and stuff like that, in Africa you try to sell a diamond, is okay, and they turn around and sell it for fucking millions. This is what the English family does. This is what the Rothschilds do to Africa. And people are celebrating their little inbred, disgusting abomination against God. I mean, that little inbred, is the child of two cousins, knowing cousins. What I mean by knowing cousins is they know they're cousins. And they only married each other to keep control of the blood money. That's what it is, people. I mean, how can you be so rich, have so much money, and put money towards war, Monsanto's, evil corporations, blood diamonds, lies, deceit, theft, killing, murder, prostitution, whatever the fuck you feel like, and do all that and not give any back to the starving kids of the world and go to bed and sleep soundly? It's what they do. Fact. Fuck their baby. On behalf of all the kids starving right now, all their kids suffers the same karma as all the other children they've turned their backs on and stolen from, literally stuck their hands in that child's mouth and stomach and pulled out all their food for their entire life because of what they did. That's basically what they do to Africa. To be the richest country in the world. More so than fucking China or America. Everybody gets a diamond ring. Everybody wears diamonds. And majority of them, most of them come from Africa. So on that fact alone, why isn't Africa the richest country in the world because these fucking racist goddamn British German Nazis reach in their fucking pockets, reach in their land, and directly steal their money. And if you want to do anything about it, they put their corrupt politicians right in there to do what they want to say. And if they don't do what they want to say, they get killed. These are the same motherfuckers that started a country, their white country called South Africa. South Africa is white Africa. You ask somebody, where you from? If they're from South Africa, say, I'm from South Africa. That's like saying, I'm from the good part of Africa. I'm from the white part of Africa. What kind of bullshit is this? Racist as fuck. There's only one Africa. But see, these mentality of these fucking Nazis have brainwashed everybody to say, oh, you're from South Africa? Oh, okay, you're okay. But if you say Africa, ooh, you've been living with those black, ooh, you've been, you know? And that's what they put in people's heads. But clearly, they made South Africa to rob Africa blind, and that's what it does. Bottom line. So anyway, hey, Kate, inbreds, fuck your baby. I'ma say it. I don't care. I mean, it's like, I know it's a little kid and everything, but I mean, fuck your baby. It's like, I don't give a shit about their baby. I mean, it's like the Jesus concept, okay, people? Jesus, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, died for everybody's sins so everybody can be this, and this, and so they can be saved, okay? It's like, what? Okay, if that baby dies, maybe the world will be saved. I don't know. But maybe it'll teach them a lesson to give something back to where they stole their money from that they live off of every day and they sit on and hoard while innocent children starve and die because they're so racist and so evil. They have literally robbed and pillaged that land and make sure that that population will die off so they can ultimately just control the land and just go in and take it. They won't even have to fight for it. Let's not forget what the British did to the Indians. Let's not forget what the British did to the Australian Aboriginals. Let's not forget what the British did to the Canadian population Aboriginals. This is their history. Bottom line, facts, history, and everybody wants to celebrate their goddamn baby? Fuck your baby, I'm sorry. On behalf of my people, my Aboriginal people, because I'm Aboriginal, you know? If I had enough money to make sure no kid would ever starve for the rest of his entire life, and I know this, I wouldn't be able to sleep without doing something. The only one in that family that actually started doing something and trying to give it back was Diana. And look what happened to Diana. She was killed by her own family. Story of my life, huh? My brother, my stepbrother's a killer, and he has a twin brother. He's a cop. His name is Officer Cliff. He bought a house right by the Katy Cliffs. The Katy Cliffs is where the mob used to dump bodies, taken over by the government, controlled and watched by the cops. Possibly, probably, more than likely became the place where, hey, the cops dumped the bodies. So, hey, Cliff, fuck you. Fuck everybody that's down with you. Fuck everybody that's done anything with you. I ain't with them. I've been trying to expose this shit since I went to Romania. If you don't believe me, cops, FBI, contact the Romanian consulate and ask them who was working there, I guess a year before I went to Romania, and ask them to see my email. Everything on the net can always be found. It was sent through AOL, DJ Zacchaeus at AOL. And yes, my mother shut down that fucking account and I made her fucking turn it back on. Does that make any sense? How she would just shut down that account? Again, I don't trust shit in this family. Because the fact of the matter is, so much evil shit has gone on, you know? And then I get back the account and I go into it. There's no trace of that email that I sent the Romanian consulate and bombed all my friends about my stepbrother Cliff over 10 years ago. But still, you know, he's walking around free because he's dirty as shit. So here's another video, Cliff. I hope you get caught. I hope you're sitting back at your house right now and listening to me, motherfucker, and you're trying to think your way out of this. Fuck you, you dirty ass pig. Peace. It's keeping it real.